Welcome to the Tippie podcast. We got a special guest in the building tonight, but before we let him say who he is, you already know what it is. Gold Money Grill, put your money where your mind feel. Glee, get your little 6 on 6, 8 on 8, 10 on 10. Them boys gonna get you gleezy. But who's my guest for the night?
CP Hollywood, South Florida Beat King.
Okay then, big dog. CP, how you doing, big dog?
Man, I'm great.
How did you get that name, dog? Let's take it on bite.
So CP Hollywood?
Yeah, you feel me?
All right, so I went to FSU, and I had a roommate that I was living with, and I just had so many women that were like in and out of my house. He was like, bro, it's like a factory up in here. Oh. And one day he was like, man, you just constantly pimping, bro, like constantly. And he was like, so he would see me at parties and be like, inside joke, like, CP. Mm-hmm. And after a while, it was like CP. And then I was from Hollywood, Florida. It was like CP Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And the name just kind of stuck from Tallahassee on, honestly.
And that was before music.
Mm-hmm.
And that was before you even got involved with music right there, right? The name.
That was, I was doing music, but I didn't, I wasn't as serious with it.
Okay. So when did you fall in love with the music, my dog? Let us know.
Shit, I've been writing music since I'm probably 7, bro. Like, it's just been in me. But so I've always had a love for music, but I think I started taking it serious as a business when I was probably 19.
Mm-hmm. So the people don't know. So you do so you write music and make beats.
I write music, I sing, I rap, I do everything. And so I've always turned to being an artist because it was the easiest way for me to get my music out there. This way I don't have to depend on other people. So when I was in Tallahassee, the first move I made was Field Mob was real hot at the time. So I had a track with Smoke from Field Mob called Cut Friends, got it on the radio, and then people were like, who made the track? And I got on as a producer like that. So it's always my goal more to be a producer-songwriter than it is an artist, but sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. You can't wait for people to book you. You gotta book yourself,
So which one you had more love for? Was it the studio, writing music, or making the beats?
I think equally. It happens almost simultaneously. If I'm making a track, if I can't write to it or see somebody writing to it in the first 2 minutes, I just scrap that bitch. Okay. It's not worth even making.
So which one you started doing first, dibbling and dabbling with first, writing or making beats?
Writing first, actually.
So how did you get involved into producing?
So I got into producing before shit was all on computers. I was on drum machines and shit like that, and I was hustling beats for $50 and shit. So I've been doing it for way long, way back. So I've always produced beats. It's just always been in me. When I was in school, I'd be banging on the garbage can and doing all that shit. I could never sit still. I was always making beats in my head and playing them out and annoying people. So once I met up with this producer in Tallahassee, rest in peace, his name is Kenjo. He produced a lot for Field Mob, Ludacris, some other producers. And I learned how to really mix records and engineer records and how important it was to get quality sound from your records so that you're not putting shit out there that don't sound like the majors. And I think once I learned that kind of set me free. I need to make quality music. You can't just put shit out. You gotta make quality music. And I saw a young dude, 19 years old, getting placements and making money and doing all sorts of shit. So,
So what was the first beat? I know you making beats. So was everybody was gravitating to your beats off rip, or people was
Well, when I came down from Tallahassee to Miami, I just looked at it fuck it, I'm starting from scratch. This is a whole new area. It's a real hood area. So I went to the hood spots. I went to a place called Pipeline. I went to Larry Dogs. I went to every spot that wherever I was definitely the brightest skinned person there by a long shot. And I just had to do what I had to do. I had to get to the spot where the artists were grinding. And I just gave out free beats. So fuck it. I'm not worth anything right now unless I got a hit. So just give these shits away. And I ended up on mixtape after mixtape, and my tag CP Hollywood just.
What first song you heard on the mixtape?
I think the first song that I saw was starting to catch without me doing anything was Briscoe had a record called Trap Shit. and that just kind of like saw that moving on mixtape.
He jumped on your beat.
And then it was Papa Duck started doing a lot of records, and then the record that like took me there was definitely Shone on Deck with Busta Free and Yak.
But before you bring that up, my dog, but my bad for interrupting you. But how did you come up with the CCCP Hollywood? How did you?
So I knew, to me, I was always a marketing person. So this was before producers were tagging. Like I was the only one tagging.
That's what I'm saying. That sound like throwback. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like I kept my tag consistent. It's the same as it used to be, and that's when like Chopped and Screwed was in. So I screwed my voice and tagged it out, and I knew that if I had hundreds of tracks out there with my tag, that eventually, even if I put out 100, as long as 6-7 of them bitches happen, I'm good. So if 6-7 of them rock out there and they're on mixtape, people are hearing my tag. And what happened is like maybe 6-7 months.
What did you use to make it though? Like what?
I was on Fruity Loops back in the day. Now I produce on Ableton.
Who voiced that? That's your voice?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're like, let me slow it down.
Yep. And that's crazy is like when people hear the tag and then they meet me for the first time, they're like, "You're CP Hollywood?" Like, no way. And I mean, I've been standing next to artists and they'll be like, "CP Hollywood" in the building. They'll turn around like, "You're CP Hollywood?" Like, I always throw people off with that, always. But I'm cool with that, I mean, it is what it is. This is an urban industry. You got to get kind of used to it or don't.
Okay. So you say your first song that started taking off, it was a Briscoe track. What that track was called again?
Trap Shit. And then there was a record that Papa Duck had, and it was like, better not put your hands on my dog. They used to play that in like Club Boca, all those clubs. They would
so you was not crazy. Even meeting the artists, they were just somehow
I would just run into them at like conferences and just hand out beat CDs. I'd go to the hood, just hand shit out. I didn't even know who half the artists were when they were jumping on my tracks. I had no fucking idea until I started bringing them to my home studio. And then I brought Iceberg there. I brought Busta Free there. I mean, I had everybody there. Gunplay. I mean, everybody I could get my hands on, I brought to the studio.
So that's not like Rush Show. Like, who was the first Miami-based artist you brought to your studio?
The first one.
Cause your name maker, everybody hearing CP3 everywhere, Hollywood everywhere.
I want to say actually the first one that actually, I want to say it was Busta Free.
So Busta Free came. So he was the first one that acknowledged.
Yeah, like this dude's got a buzz. Like, you know what? Actually, I want to say it was Vito No Shake.
Okay, Vito No Shake. So what song did what beat did you get when he worked on?
Damn, that was so long ago. I can't even remember. It was so long ago. But that record is what got a couple. He was, Vito just does his thing. Everybody respects him. He's just a cool dude. So I think when he puts his stamp on you, I think a lot of people open their eyes to you. So after that, people just started coming to me. Before I knew it, like my phone was just blowing up. Like everybody wanted to track with me. And it was like, I went from doing them for free to like, when people would hit me, I was like, all right, 500. And they were like, cool. And then I was like, all right, 1,500, 3,500. Before I knew it, I was at 10 racks a track.
We can't be skipping now. We can't be skipping. So Busta Free, you trying to just go out there, damn. So Busta Free, how did y'all come up with that hit right there? Because that's when you told after the first one, but that Busta Free was really the first street hit, right?
Right, and so Busta Free actually was in a group with Yak, and it was Under Surveillance.
Yes.
And they basically made the record. We did it in the crib, and then we brought it to a studio, like a professional studio. And I'll be honest, I hated the fucking record, man. I thought it was like, I was like, man. Because Ball Greasy had just had Shone out. So when I heard Shone on Deck, I was like, I don't know, is this...
So, like, what kind of beats were you making? Did you feel like they was switching up your style of music? Like the beats they said people was saying they needed out? Because it seemed like if you came down at that time, it was like Jikin beats was in.
So I think...
Was it easy for you to convert to making Jikin beats?
That shit was super easy. And I think that's the part that like made me feel like this shit was too easy. Like, this can't be what people want to hear from me. And it was. Like, I went through like probably like 30, 40 juke beats. Like, so I probably sold 40 in a year. Like,
so like what did you listen to get your mind into making a juke beat?
Honestly, I'm not a big, I don't like listening to other people's music. I'm such an obsessive person, man. Whenever I hear music, I have to make music, and it makes me crazy. Like, I go into a club at night, I have to go home and make music. So the more music I listen to, it's like, I don't like to really be influenced by other people's music too much. I kind of try to do my own thing. But I do have to give respect where it's due. Like, Gorilla Tech was also on that sound at the same time. And I think that he and I both kind of carried that sound out of here at the same time. So I'm always about just, calling it like it is. I mean, he had Shone at that time, then he had Grind Mode's record. And I think we all just kind of piggybacked on one another with record after a record. This is also the time when Miami radio was a lot more receptive to local artists. I don't really hear local artists on the radio anymore.
So when you dropped Shone on Deck, dropped it with the artists, Busta Free and them boys, and started buzzing up. What was going on when you started hearing it like 6 months in the streets just buzzing up? You hearing it everywhere. What was going through your mind?
I was like, man, these motherfuckers are really grinding. Because I had done tons of records at this point with everybody, and I hadn't seen anybody's record like really catch before. I had never seen a record that really like caught. Like, I didn't have to go to a club and be like, play my record. Like, I would go in and within an hour, the record was playing. If I would turn on the radio, the record was playing. So that record I saw how a record moved organically. Like, that record just became a hit at parties, organically at clubs, and the next thing we knew, we went to radio like a year after that record was in the clubs and all that. And what I learned is your record really hasn't come out until it hits radio. When it hits radio, it's got a whole other lifespan. It's like you could work a record honestly in the streets for like 12 to 18 months, and it's kind of like what you're supposed to do if you got a hit, to really give it all of its legs. So when you go to radio and you put a video out, now it's moving with the fan base that already built it.
Fast. So now the song buzzing, it's on the radio. How them phone calls coming in now? Is people looking is they looking for you?
Oh man, everybody was looking for me. It was crazy. Like, and down here, I'm like a paranoid person, period. So I don't want to just fuck with everybody because my natural personality is I just help people. But I learned real quick, you can't just help everybody in Miami and Broward County and Palm Beach County, because motherfuckers will take advantage of you real quick. Everybody's not a good person out here, and everybody doesn't necessarily do business correctly out here. So when my phone started ringing, at first I started just kind of like trying to work with everybody who was hitting my phone. After a while, I started being a lot more particular, like, all right, who am I getting into the studio with? And I just started making requirements for people, like listen, I'll go into the studio with you. You can bring your homeboy, but you ain't bringing 5 people in the
What kind of
studio,
shit was
bro.
going on? Why? Let me know what kind of shit that made you say,
Like,
man.
when you're a producer, a lot of people don't think about this, but so the way a studio is designed is you got a board and you're sitting in front of it. Then everybody else is in back of you. So me personally, when I know I got 6 guns in behind me, I don't like that feeling. So I got to know who I'm in the studio with. And when you brought your whole crew of homeboys who are all vibing, I don't know what they're doing behind me. I'm trying to focus on the music. So I started making requirements with people like, just only bring one person. And now I still do the same thing, man. If you're coming to work on music, just come by yourself, because I'm going to be by myself. I'm not out here. There's no reason for all this shit.
So Shone on Deck, popping. So what's the next hit that started doing the thing of, like
So what happened right after that was like everybody started hitting me for records. It was Bizzle, rest in peace. Man, I loved that dude.
What track you gave Bizzle?
So it was a record called Recession Proof, and it was his last record literally before he passed.
R.I.P. Bizzle too.
And then Toro, who was a big artist back in the day too, I was working with him before he passed. And so everybody started hitting my phone. Everybody who was big at the time, like so C-Ride, Iceberg.
What you gave C-Ride?
What the hell was the name of that track too? It'll come to me. I've done so many fucking tracks. It was a Juke record too, and it took off for him too.
Which one? Cause not that. C-Ride had a couple now. I think he had like 1, 2.
Damn. It'll come to me.
What about Iceberg? What you did for Iceberg?
So Iceberg, on his very first mixtape, I did a record for him. And then he did like a few records for me here and there, but nothing really. I never really did a record that like really, really blew up with him, other than the record I did. It was with him, Young Breed. I want to say it was him, Young Breed, and like Briscoe actually, and it was real N-word.
No.
I don't say that. So, but that was the record, and it actually started hitting mixtapes and all that, and it did well. And he was young, man. Like Iceberg was doing this when he was. People don't understand. This dude was grinding in high school. Like, he came to my studio in high school, and he was selling mixtapes and all that shit. When he got signed to Dunk Riders, he was young, man. Like he was a hustler. I've always respected him. He's always been like cut from a different cloth. He's always been a smart dude. Knew how to move down here, you know. And I've always respected that. He has his own sound too.
You already know. Shout out to Ice Billion Bird.
Yeah.
So now, you working with everybody. You buzzing up. Who else? What's going on? Who's calling? Is the phone calls coming in? Any record labels is calling?
Yeah. So what happened was I had 1 million record labels started to call me.
1 million record labels.
Like every record label that was out there started calling me. And I didn't know shit about anything at the time. So I was nervous, honestly, because I heard all this shit about record labels, like you signing your life away, all this shit. So what happened is I had an artist named Calico, and he ended up getting like offered to deal with Slip and Slide. And through that relationship, Slip and Slide ended up hitting me up, I don't know, about a year later, and I ended up signing with them. And like big shout out to Trina and all her people and Showtime.
You ended up signing with Slip and Slide?
Yeah, and I did $1 Million Girl and Showing Out, and I did Hit It Right for her. I did a bunch of records. 2 made it on the album. But honestly, I've always really appreciated her because she had no reason to really help me. And she just respected that the quality of music was there. So I've always worked with her. But I never actually had gotten into the studio with Trina physically. I've never been in the studio with her. Which is, this industry is weird like that. Like, you know, and I get it. Like, you don't want to just let everybody in your circle. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to keep it about the music and stuff like that, because I don't like letting people in my circle either, so I get it. You know, so many people screw you over in this industry that once you got your circle, you don't want to let new people into that shit. There's no reason to.
So now, you get called, you the shit, you working with Trina, dog. How them checks started going up from, you feel me, like you say, 100 to 200 to 500 to 1,000? Like, how
So, at my high, I was making $10,000 a track. I remember the first track I sold for $10,000 was these dudes from Texas.
From Texas?
And yeah, they came
Texas
all the way from
first
Texas.
Place to show you love like that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Texas, goddamn.
Bought 3 tracks, $10,000 a piece. I made $30,000.
Shut up.
I was like,
30,000.
I was like, $30,000.
How you end up charging them 10,000 though?
So basically, when they came down, my Shone on Deck was hot as shit. So when they came down, they turned on the radio as they were driving to Walmart, and they were like, "Damn, we just heard your track." And I was like, "I'm telling you, like."
So what they do when they hear the tag, they go look that
right.
way.
And at the time, the internet wasn't as popping as it is now. So it was like, you hear the radio, that was everything. You know what I mean? And I was all over the radio at the time with different tracks, little tracks here and there, but Shone on Deck was blowing up.
So you fucking got 3 beats out the way for $30K.
For $30K, and that was when I was like, "Oh fuck, there's actually money in this music industry if you play it right."
What the hell was going through your mind?
I was
Cash
like,
or
fuck.
check?
Cash, bro.
Cash.
I was like, "What the fuck, man?" And honestly, I had broke that bread with 2 other people who brought it to me. So I ended up with 10,000. I just looked like, it was like, this is 10,000 more than I would have. So I didn't give. I've always been like that. If you bring me business, I don't care how we gotta chop it up, as long as I make my money at the end of the day that I'm happy making. So I looked at it like I sold 3 tracks for $3,300 a piece, which still to me was a lick. Like these tracks were sitting there. These were older tracks, you know what I mean, just sitting there. So it was when I realized, okay, if you hustle right, you can really make money in this industry, but you gotta be smart and you gotta keep your face clean. There's a lot of little pieces to this shit to keep your money going, you know? So yeah, and then it hit that point. Then once I got off the label, I felt like I just kind of got exhausted from the whole music industry. Like I just got exhausted from the negativity, from how much politicking I saw was in it. And me mentally, I don't think I was ready at the time to do all the politicking like I am today.
What made you get exhausted about it?
Well, I think one, I think this is an industry, honestly, that to me, if you're not making money outside of it and you dependent on music industry money, I think you're fucked up out here. Like, you're gonna be so fucked up out here, because that come up is a long fucking come up, and sometimes you don't make it. I mean, so if you don't have that other money, you just stressing over music money, I think the shit drains you. I think you get to a point where, like, am I just being immature? Do I need to just grow up? So I literally took 5 years with real estate, sold 270 something houses at this point, and flipped probably over 150 or so, and I got my money up, and I started living how I wanted to live, so I can reapproach music and feel good about it.
So how did you jump in real estate? Then how did you convert from producing to fucking flipping houses and shit?
Man, so this is crazy, right? So while I was teaching, and I was teaching middle school while I was fucking signed. I was a middle school teacher, bro, while I was signed to a fucking label.
Yeah, you ain't playing.
So I was literally walking my kids to lunch one day, the class I had, and they're all singing Shone on Deck in the hallway. And I'm like, this is the craziest part. Like, this is so weird. None of them know that I did it, And
you never told them?
After a while, I did. I was like, I can't run from this no more.
Man, like, I made the beat, goddamn.
Yeah, it was a weird feeling, man. And then, I was teaching for a long time. I'm always just been a hustler. So I got my real estate license. I wasn't making no money. And then I just got to a point, I was like, man, I'm doing this. Let me just go where the money really is in real estate. And I applied myself in the 3rd month. I really just quit everything and just did real estate. I made $88,000. This shit changed my whole fucking life. I was like,
okay then.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck am I out here doing right now? Like, let me get my money up, reapproach music from a business perspective, and really figure out, like, how to market this shit and make your money back. Because otherwise, you'd be out here spending money and fucking losing a lot of fucking money real quick, too.
So when you jump, when you jump in real estate and it worked real good and got successful, did you look at music the same way again, or you ain't? How you jump back?
I basically just told myself mentally, I didn't even fucking, this is weird, I didn't even listen to music. I would drive in the car and not even listen to the radio. I was that, like, I don't want to hear music, I don't want to think about producing. I was like sick of it. And I had to just focus, man. And then when I got the bug back, like, I gotta do music, this is what I'm here to do, that's when I said, all right, let me really evaluate the music industry as a business right now. I took a look at TikTok. I took a look at understanding algorithms of social medias, and there's just a lot of shit to it now that didn't exist back then that you gotta understand. You gotta understand the social world, the internet. You gotta understand shit like that you didn't have to do before. I remember just going out and basically trapping CDs. Like, I would just go to every club, every conference. I was out there passing out CDs. You can't do that shit no more. Hand out USB drives, what you gonna do? So it's just a different game now.
So to name some people you can remember, being in the studio and working with.
So, man, so many fucking people.
That was for the names you could remember.
So, honestly, just in the past 6 months, I've been in the studio with a ton of people. From, let's see, Busta Free, Gunplay, Briscoe, Papa Duck, Meet Gucci, Tierra Trinice, Swayze Styles, I know I'm missing a bunch of Deslock, Case 100, McCleasy, Chaos from Grind Mode. Just so many fucking people, man, honestly. I've just been in there for everybody. And I used to do tracks with Haitian Fresh, and he used to get a lot of features, so I did a record with him called International Boss. It had Rick Ross and Busta Rhymes on it. At the time, I was just doing records with people. A lot of people were getting features, so I did a record with Jason Derulo called Text Message with this other guy named Kels Osborne. I pretty much had worked with, like, everybody. Pitbull was on a remix of On Deck.
You worked with Pitbull?
Yeah, he was on the remix of On Deck.
How you feel about that? Pitbull didn't touch one of your tracks.
That felt amazing. That guy I got a lot of respect for. And then I did the Broward County Anthem for Ace Hood.
You the one that did that track? Oh, man. Well, A.G. General on that thing.
Yep.
He was locked up. He couldn't make the... Okay, then how did it feel working on that there?
That was cool, too. But, another thing, I've never been in the studio with Ace Hood, so I think I've done, like, probably 3 records with him, never been in the studio. What? It's such a strange industry with politics. Like, everybody's got managers, and those managers manage producers. So it's like nobody wants to step on toes in the industry, but in reality, they're not focusing on just making the best music, in my opinion, But, all these artists, to me, every time they do a track with me, they're showing me love. So, and I just reached out the past 6 months to everybody that I could get my hands on, and everybody who was receptive, I got them in the studio. It wasn't even no thoughts about it. And I worked a lot with Gold Rush too. You know Gold Rush?
Yeah, I know Gold Rush.
Yeah, it's my dog. I worked with him a lot on the album too, and he's a talented dude too, man.
Yes, I just had Gold Rush in here.
I mean, he does everything too. So
he said he working on video making it all now.
yeah, and he actually shot Permanent, which is a record I just put out probably like 2 months ago.
You say you starting to work on so when you producing these records, these new records, are you singing and rapping on them too?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a whole album that's like features, and I'm pretty much on like 50 to 75% of those records. And then I have a whole other album that's like a lot more like rock and like top 40 fusion kind of thing. And that's just all me. There's nobody else but me on it.
So you're just trying to dip and dive in different genres.
Yeah. So I just look at it like you just gotta do as much work as you can, and then market the fuck out of it. And I mean, at the end of the day, like if you don't have good quality work, it's not gonna go anywhere. But marketing is everything. You can have a million fucking hits, but if nobody's heard them shits, they're not hits. I mean, a hit is a record that spreads virally and all that. You gotta get on that point where, you know what I mean, like you're making actual hits, and that's just all marketing. You know, like I've been speaking to a lot of A&Rs in the past 2 weeks, probably like 8 different A&Rs, and the biggest thing that they're talking about is just like marketing. Like, we don't want to step in and be your engine. You got to be your own engine. You got to have every social media on lock. And like, so I got 180,000 TikTok followers. My dumb ass, I deleted a whole bunch of videos. I didn't realize that on those videos, when you delete them, you're deleting your likes on TikTok.
Oh, man.
So I got 180,000 followers and deleted literally like 3 million likes. When I deleted them, I didn't realize I couldn't get those likes back. So now my page looked crazy. Like, the likes don't match, you know what I mean? And so, like, this shit is important. When somebody go to your page and see this shit, it don't add up. They're like, this is bullshit. You know what I mean?
So what you mean the likes disappear?
So, like, if you're on TikTok and you delete a video, I didn't realize when you delete a video, all the likes that are attached to that video go away from your likes on your page. So I literally had like 3 million likes on the page. Deleted all these videos that went viral because I wanted to switch the content to just me. Lost fucking 3 million plus likes. I was devastated.
Oh, man.
I was so fucking devastated.
I would have been devastated.
It's like, what the fuck? But, you know, TikTok has changed the game a lot, bro. And I've been trying to learn that shit. It's just, it's not my personality to really do that shit. But I've literally spent, like, the past 30 days just making video content for TikTok. And that shit has been, like, pulling teeth for me.
Okay, fast. So let the people know how important it is, even being a producer, artist, to deal with the social media and keep updated with that social media.
Man, I think like nowadays it's like, that's the first thing I think people do. They look at your name, they go to your social media account. And it's like, you're either popping or you're not. You know, I think everybody wants to feel like they're missing something. Like, I think when you go to a page and there's obviously a lot of traffic, obviously a lot of interest, a lot of engagement, you always feel like, what am I missing? Like, where have I been? You know, you want people to feel like that. And so I think that social media, especially, you can do ads. So to me, I just pump the fuck out of ads because I know, you know, you can grow organically and you have to, but you can also speed that process up by doing ads. And I think, you know, you gotta look at it. Labels are doing ads. You just gotta look at what the big dogs are doing. They're doing ads. So to me, I just pump the fuck out of ads on everything I do to make the awareness there that the record's there. And then when I do records with artists, I want them to know I push these fucking records correctly.
Facts.
So right now I'm just working on like how you actually move a record correctly. Because I think the biggest mistake that artists are doing is they drop a record on their Instagram. A month later, they drop another record on the Instagram. That's not releasing a record.
That's not releasing that.
That's not how you release a record.
It's still a guy. You gotta go on YouTube, none of that.
Yeah, you got to get it popping in record pools, Spotify playlists, YouTube. There's so many avenues. Yeah, you got to have dancers on TikTok. This shit is got to be done correctly, and that's what I'm doing right now. I took like 6 months to just figure out like how do you really drop a record correctly. And right now I'm about to push the first record Oppin', and I'm gonna have this shit everywhere and do it actually correctly and show people how you're really supposed to drop a record. You gotta look at this shit like a business. You can't just throw music out there. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you to share your record and to love you because you make music. Like, nobody owes you that shit. I realized that early. There's a ton of talented people out here. Nobody owes you shit.
That's facts. So goddamn, before we get out of here, dog, give them some shout outs and what else we could be, so expected in the future.
So I got an album called The Wave, which is basically a whole bunch of features from all artists through Florida, and it's 18 tracks. Then I have another album which is just me, and that's about 20 tracks. So you're gonna be seeing track after track come out right now. But right now there's a record called Oppin', and it's a real big club record. It's just me, full production, me as the artist, whatever. So you're gonna see all that coming out right now. And I just encourage people to reach out to me. I'm a good dude. I'm always trying to help people. But I'm about business too. I try to, when I do business, like for instance, we're working together, I'm already thinking next, like, how do I get you money? Because that's how you make a long-lasting relationship. Like,
Facts.
Nobody wants to pick up the phone when you asking them for favors. People want to pick up the phone when they know you're making money.
Yeah,
it's real shit.
I always tell people about that too. Let's help each other make some money.
Yeah, so I say, hit me up on my IG, CP Hollywood 954. And I appreciate the interview, man. Like,
man, I had to come get on you. I'm like, man, you've been turning up. You got 2 more hits under the belt. I had to bring you here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's good that you're in Broward too, man, because I be getting tired of driving to Dade, bro.
Man, we here. But we got Dade coming over here now.
That's good, man. I'm noticing that's happening a lot now. There's a lot of spots in Broward that are starting to pop. But yeah, man, I appreciate it. And new music is definitely coming real soon. And I just encourage artists to reach out to me. I'm definitely accessible. I try to make sure that I'm accessible. I almost respond. I think I've responded to every single DM I've got on IG. Even like the hidden requests, all that shit. I respond to every motherfucking person. Like, I try to stay humble like that, man. Because to me, I'd rather have real fans that I connect with than, just constantly posting shit and I'm not interacting with anybody genuinely. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
Now, what about the beats? They still blowing you about them beats?
Yeah. And on my site, I'm actually selling beats. I made it super affordable. I did some like almost dumb shit. Like, I'm on cphollywood.com. I made like 2 packages of 100 beats, and literally I'm selling them for $25 a piece. It was just unlimited licensing. I didn't give a fuck. There were tracks that were just sitting there, and then like my exclusive shit, you can license it for $49.99. I mean, I got beats with hooks there. I got like hundreds of beats on there.
And let them know the website again.
Yeah, so it's cphollywood.com, and you can check all my shit out there, like all my new music, all the beats, everything. It's all there, and you can buy tracks right from the website, like right
cphollywood.com. Y'all go in there, come support that boy.
Yeah, man.
You already know,
I appreciate it.
Man, we had to come get you too. You already know. Till next time, Tippie Toe Podcast. And don't forget, man, get your low 6 on 6, 8 on 8, 10 on 10. Go Money Grill. They gonna get you right, man. Glee. Till next time, y'all.